I drive my car up to the lake as if there's someone to awake. I haven't been to bed for days, I live in a twilight haze. And I set my heart to the setting sun, and I hope that no one else has done it. And the drinks are never far, open up the bar. I miss you every single day. I wait until I start your way. I hate the way I'm strayed into these nothing days.
David, how long is the podcast? Is it an hour?
Yeah, around about an hour.
Okay, sweet.
Or just however long. I'll just wrap it up.
Sweet.
Far away. Welcome, Laura, to the podcast. Now, I've invited you along because you're friends with my wife, Peter. Went to school with Peter, eh?
I did.
Yep. She has fond memories. She still regales me sometimes at random moments. Just like, did I ever tell you about the time Laura blah, 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 blah? I'm like, what? Must just be floating around in her head.
Oh, I must have made quite the impression there, David.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I'm honoured. She speaks like so highly of me.
Yeah.
And still refers to certain examples, so that's nice.
Yeah, the old high school days. Hey, so now, what was I going to talk about? I was going to talk about the last time we caught up.
Yes.
I said to you, you should do a podcast.
You did?
Not this one, but I think you should have your own one, and I think you could interview people and talk with people, because like you say, you've got a bit of a history in radio and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think you're a good conversationist.
Thank you, David. Well, I'm not... Yeah, you're right. I'm not usually short for a word, but... but I guess if I had my own podcast, I would worry that people wouldn't listen to it, and B, like I was actually going to ask you, where the hell do you source all of your guests from? Do you just are they people you know? Or?
Because ours is in the cafe. The idea of our one is basically just it's the community that surrounds a coffee shop or an espresso bar or a cafe. Because the culture that sort of surrounds it and stuff in the community, it's interesting because you get like, multi-millionaire customers, and you get like the homeless and the street people, and then you get everyone in between. Right. And it's just fascinating. And we can have conversations, and sometimes they're in the cafe at the same time, and there's just these random conversations that go on. So, and that's something Milton and I really enjoy. So. Yeah.
I'm sure you guys would meet a lot of interesting people.
Yeah.
Yep. If you ask someone to be part of the podcast,
do
most people go, oh no, I couldn't get on a mic, or I'm too afraid.
Well, some people are like real keen. It's like, yep, let's do it, and they jump on in. Yeah, definitely appeals to a certain sort of personality, and some other people have to sort of warm themselves up a wee bit, and other people commit to it, and then they'll cancel in the last moment.
Right, just out of with nerves, they're like, no, I can't.
I would assume so. So often, under the pretext of something else, but right. I think it's probably nerves, or maybe they just realise it's not quite for them, which is fine.
It can be a bit stressful putting yourself out there, and obviously, people have a little bit of worry that sharing. I think we think that we like to not worry about what other people think of us, but we kind of do. And, cancel culture is like a real thing.
Yeah.
No one's been protesting outside of Pilgrim, though, from anything that we've said, so so far so good.
Good.
But yeah, you can... Matty, the guy who used to own the electric bike shop, he has a podcast called The Road to Success, and he contacts all sorts of successful people, what he defines as successful, like Michael Hill Jeweller, which I think everyone can probably agree he's successful. Yes. And Pix Peanut Butter Guy, all sorts.
Oh, wow.
And he just randomly sends them emails and asks them. And he said to me, you'd be surprised who says yes.
Wow.
So,
well.
Yep.
Well, maybe I will give it a try then, David.
Yeah, I reckon. And then you need a theme of some description.
Yes.
So I don't know what yours would be. Maybe dogs, small dogs.
Yes, jeepers. I don't know if I could talk about dogs for that long, but I could give it a crack. I've got another friend who I went to. This was like 20 plus years ago.
Yeah.
I went to broadcasting school with.
Yeah.
And you can do one of three streams. You can either do like TV, production behind the scenes.
Yep.
Radio, which is what I did.
Yep.
Or journalism. And this is what my friend did. And so she's got her own podcast, actually.
Oh, right.
And she's a top chick. And the crazy thing is she lives on a farm in Koorau, which is about 3.5 hours drive from Christchurch. So it's sort of middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But she's doing this podcast.
Wow.
It's the coolest
thing.
It's
so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
So we've decided to film ours and make it a YouTube thing. So it's actually, ours is more of a YouTube channel, whereas a sort of a podcast is generally just the audio.
Right.
So she probably does that and then just calls people up, right, and records it. Yeah,
yes.
Nice. And do you know the name of it, or what her sort of
this is so
theme, or?
Do you know what? I've got it on my Spotify, like saved as one of my podcasts.
Yeah.
But I cannot remember. I have to tell you afterwards, but I cannot remember. But there are three, so she's a journo, and then there are two other journos. And so I think they interview people as well. But yeah, they talk about news and what's going on in the world and things like that, locally and internationally.
I mean, the thing is, you can start off talking about little dogs, and that might last for a minute, and then suddenly you're
talking about the war in
about something
Ukraine.
else, and it just burgeons out and goes everywhere. So it's not that hard.
Yeah, right. Hey, well, you guys, because how many of these have you done now, guys? You've done a heap.
Probably close to 30, which is okay. Yep. I mean, that's after about a year. Yeah.
Wow.
I thought we'd do one. I thought we'd kind of be up to about 50 by now, right?
We're just learning about it, and but you just jump in and do it.
Hey, you guys have got all the gear, so I would say you're professionals now. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Well, I've seen people at the golf club with all the gear.
Good point.
Yeah,
good point.
There you go.
No, but I think it's cool. It's a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So how long did you do radio for?
Well, actually, it's funny you should ask that, because I did a 3-year stint, and then because I was only...
Was this straight out of school?
This was... I went to broadcasting school for 3 years.
Yep.
And then my first job out of broadcasting school was as a promotions coordinator at MediaWorks.
Yeah.
And, honestly, it was just the most fun job you could have as a young person. It was just... There was so much variety. You were meeting people all the time, and there were quite a lot at that time. I think things have changed now, but there were quite a lot of perks.
Yeah.
Movie passes and concert tickets and things like that, and lots of dinners out and functions. Really social, just a good time. And then I went overseas and did my Kiwi Big OE thing.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, I came back and filled a maternity leave position. So that was just for 1 year as client service manager. So I actually only worked in radio for 4 years, but it feels like a lot longer.
Wow.
And the friendships that you form, still to this day.
Yeah.
I see those people.
Yeah.
And we catch up, and it's just like I saw them yesterday,
Yeah.
So it's good times.
Oh, cool. and then where did you move on to? Like after the radio, where did you go overseas? Was it the UK or?
It was I was based, I lived in London.
Yeah.
But I sort of, if I could do it all over again, I think I might have done it slightly differently, because most of my friends, worked a full-time job, a permanent job. I just worked short-term, 2 or 3 month stints, doing all sorts of different random stuff, working in bars, working as a carer, looking after the elderly.
Oh, right. Cool.
Working as a PA to I got one gig working as a PA for the head magistrate of England, so the top judge basically. And all I did was he would just the verdicts that he was going to read out in court, he would just read them to me, dictate, and I would just type them.
Oh, wow.
I could,
Yeah.
And make him cups of tea, and that was about it.
Cool. How'd you nail that gig? How'd you get that?
I just signed up with a heap of different sort of temp agencies, and they look at your different skills, and one of my skills, and I'm not kidding, it was from years of playing computer games with my brothers as a kid.
Really? Yeah.
Was my typing
Whoa.
ability. I was
Wow.
able to type really fast.
Because when computer games, why were you typing in the computer games?
Oh, just you know when you know.
I know they were computer based and you had a keyboard.
Yes,
but
and also
Yeah.
like this sounds so funny when I think about it now, but the internet was kind of just a new thing when I was about 15, 16, I
oh
think.
hell yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
And so, you know, I can't even remember what it was called. I want to say Bebo or something. It was like a
Chat room.
chat room
Yes,
thing.
yes, yeah.
And so I used to just get on there
Yeah.
and I'd like message
Yeah,
random
yeah.
people in
Yeah.
Germany and
Yep.
Switzerland and bloody UK
That's right.
and stuff. But anyway, so that's basically. But how I got that gig. But yeah, no. To answer your question, I just travelled around Europe
Yep.
to heaps of different countries, and I went to Russia.
Did you?
Oh, nice.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Don't want to go there now.
No.
But, you know, and I went to Egypt, and I
Yeah.
went to all these cool different countries as well as your mainstream ones. But yeah,
Yeah.
such a good time.
Cool.
But Russia's really interesting. Did you like Russia?
It is very interesting, and I only say I wouldn't go back there simply because of the current circumstances.
Yeah.
I know.
But like I'd be too scared to more than anything. But I think.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about Russia, oh God, I hope I don't get bombed or something. But I, but I noticed that this is very much a generalisation. But walking down the street,
Yeah.
I don't know. I noticed these women all like dressed up to the nines, beautiful makeup, beautiful hair, everything, gorgeous. And then the guy they were with was like dog tucker.
Wow.
Not
Is that right?
attractive guys.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
These beautiful women with really unattractive guys. I thought, what's happened here?
Random.
He must have been a really nice guy.
Yeah.
know?
Possibly.
Don't know.
Or an employee.
Interesting.
But yeah,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, Milton, you've got a story that Putin worked in New Zealand for a while, don't you?
Well, I just saw that in the media like, maybe a year and a half ago. Yeah, he worked in a shoe store, maybe in Auckland or something.
You're
yeah,
joking.
he was totally here. I think it was
as a spy.
Yeah, as a spy. He came
Yeah.
over here as a spy. And so you see a picture of a young Putin. Yeah, he came to New Zealand.
What's his
apparently,
first name?
Far
I don't
out.
even know his first name.
Vladimir?
Vladimir.
Vladimir,
That's right.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Vladimir Putin.
That's right.
There's some
Wow.
Kiwis out there who bought shoes off him.
Yep.
that's
Maybe some,
If you
you
look it
know,
up,
Reebok pumps.
It'll be on the old internet. Yep, that
it's a
happens.
scary thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit.
I heard a thing the other day. Sorry, and I don't want to get into politics and stuff, but there was something. You know how there've been lockdowns and stuff in China.
Yeah.
People have been cooped
Yes.
up for bloody months. You know.
Yeah. No, it's intense.
But I've heard this is a sort of a rumour, I think, but that there are different, like Chinese police stations in different countries
Oh, right.
that sort
A kind of.
people out. In
Oh,
each
if,
if that
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. If like Chinese nationals.
Yeah, if so, a
Yeah.
Chinese national misbehaves in New Zealand,
Yeah.
they'll come in and go, right, this is the punishment, and it's a lot harsher than obviously if.
Yeah, I know at Canterbury University there was someone studying something to do with China and the political side of it, and
Yeah.
they received a lot of flack. And she was, I think they were being followed and stuff. Yeah,
Right. Gosh.
and it was real. Yeah,
it's scary.
but yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on with telecommunications. In America, how they donated all of this equipment to all of these states.
Yep.
To get their infrastructure up and stuff. And I mean, TikTok's the latest one, which has a massive, like when you tick that little box of saying, okay, I agree with this, they've got quite a lot of access to your information.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, it's
scary.
almost a ridiculously childlike way to infiltrate a country's security system by saying, "I'll just give you all this stuff, guys."
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I mean, it
Yeah.
seems kind of ridiculous. And then there's, spy capabilities included in that technology.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. No, totally.
It's scary, yeah, because I know that they say that your cell phone's always listening to you, and yeah, like you
It
say,
is.
like if you sign up to something
Yeah.
like TikTok or whatever,
Yeah.
they're monitoring all the websites you've visited and
Yeah.
things like that. And I wonder how much. Yeah, it's
I
quite
mean,
scary.
Yeah, it's not super. Obviously, I don't have anything to worry about too much. But I mean, the technology is
we
there.
were talking about that the other day.
It's
You were
pretty
talking
fascinating.
about Siri,
Yeah, Siri.
just listening.
Yeah, Siri does tend to
Yep.
catch me out
Yep.
every so often.
Your phone's just sitting over there and it's just listening.
Yeah, that's Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a scary thought, isn't it? Like,
So, yeah, and then here we are doing a podcast, just chucking it out there anyway. Hey,
what the hell? What the hell?
so what happened after radio?
Then I came back and I worked at a university just as an events sort of organizer for the students.
Yep.
And I was there for 3 years, and then I went to Japan to teach English. So I've done some very random stuff.
Yeah. How long were you in Japan for?
Well, do you know what? I had this is, you know how you look back at your life and not necessarily regret things, but think, oh, what if I'd done it a slightly different way, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So I actually had a 3-year visa granted, but I only used 1 year.
Oh, yeah.
And there were a couple of reasons for that. Main one is that I left my little pug dog.
Yeah.
What was it? Barney back here.
Barney. I've forgotten Barney's name.
Wee Barnes. He was my first ever pug. Poor wee Barnes. And unfortunately he passed away while I was gone, and so I just was like desperate to come back. I was like, oh my God. And then secondly, a guy, I was on like a teaching English program called the JET program. And there were only 20 of us in Osaka, which is the city I lived in.
Yep.
And one of the guys, who I'd just been away for 2 weeks with on like a Christmas vacation thing, there were 7 of us, we travelled around southern Japan. He killed himself when we returned, and that was just devastating. Like I was shocked, and I was just, that just made me want to come home. But you know? But anyway.
That's understandable, why that would shock you like that. Gosh, it's awful.
Yeah, and I think also, living in those people out there who have lived in a non-English speaking country before.
Yeah, I haven't.
It can be a bit isolating. Like I could speak a little bit of the language. Like I learned Japanese at high school, and then I was having lessons with a little old Japanese lady.
Oh, cool.
To just sort of, so I could ask people, oh, excuse me, where is the train station? Or what time is it? Or whatever, whatever it may be. But yeah, I just, it could still be a bit isolating.
Yeah, that sounds tough.
Yeah.
Do you kind of wish you had stayed a bit longer, though? Done the 3 years or not? I think those circumstances that you described would have been hard to...
Yeah, I mean, for some people, they would have been like, oh, it's a roadblock, it's horrible, but let's get over it. And it happened probably 6 months in to my year, so it was kind of... And so that final 6 months was quite tough.
Soured the experience.
But I have to say, overall, really unique, different place to visit. Like, some really cool cultural stuff going on there, obviously, that... Some of the Japanese teachers that I taught English with, they were so good to me. Like, they would take me to little festivals and dress me in the little... Like, it's like a kimono, like a yukata, it's called. And they were just awesome. So I was treated very well by the Japanese people,
Yeah. We had a woman on here called Anissa who is originally from Iran, and then she moved to New Zealand... But she did some time in Japan as well, teaching English.
Out in the countryside, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So she's the only Iranian in the area.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, right. I bet, yeah.
She's like tight, curly hair and just looked a little bit different.
Wow, she would have been a real novelty, though, to the Japanese people, because they don't seem to sit... in the cities, obviously, they do, but maybe in the country, not so much.
Yeah, but she was also treated really well, and she had a great time.
Totally.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think... Yeah, and there's respect for the elderly over there as well, eh?
Oh, very much so. Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I mean, I feel bad saying this, but like coming from a country, a Western country where I feel that women and men are on a slightly more even par, but in Japan, men are definitely
right
up there, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that's okay, because a lot of countries that is the case, not just Japan.
That's true.
But that was hard for me to get used to, because I'd grown up with 3 older brothers, and I was like one of the boys and like used to, So.
True. It probably... So, just small little cultural kind of things that you noticed that you would... Yeah.
Slightly different to New Zealand, that's for sure, but that's all right.
Yeah.
That's why we visit these places, isn't it? Because it's different.
Exactly. Yeah. If we were all the same... It would be pretty boring.
Yeah.
How many little pug dogs have you had there?
Oh,
Barney. Barney was the first, was he?
So sad, but I had Barney.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I was quite a bit younger then.
Laura, what happened to Barney? You're saying it's so sad. What happened?
Well, okay, so I don't actually 100% know because my parents were looking after him. He started having seizures and stuff.
Yeah.
And he just went downhill from there. So
Yeah.
I don't really know the
Yeah.
proper cause, but it was really sad at the time. And then Frank, I had Frank and he passed away as well. Now, unfortunately, he was hit by a car.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I've lost 2 wee pugs, and I thought, oh my God, how can I lose 2 little innocent wee cute? They're just the most gorgeous wee thing. Well, they're ugly cute, you know. In such a short space of time, I thought maybe I'm not meant to be a dog owner. But we'd grown up with dogs, and I love dogs, and I always knew I wanted a couple of my own. But anyway, now, I've lost two dogs, but now I've got Humphrey, who I've had for like 8 years, and Winston, who I've had for 9.5. So
Yeah.
it's all good.
Are they pugs as well?
Pug and a pug cross with a griffin, Brussels griffin.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah.
So just little guys.
Yep. Yeah, we have a couple of people that come in here with a griffin sometimes, the customers.
Oh, do you?
Yep, now and again, yep.
I have never heard of that before.
cute.
I've never heard of griffin.
Oh, they're pretty cute.
Like-
They're like these little... Oh, I have to show you a photo afterwards, but they're really sweet little guys.
So they're not as ugly as a pug, right?
No.
Yeah. Even though pugs are cute ugly.
Well, yeah, they're sort of... Well, the owners think they're cute, but I think other people think they're ugly. And a lot of people... It's funny because I'll go to the dog park and... I'd never get more than 2 dogs because I don't want to become the crazy dog lady.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've got the 2 dogs. I go to the dog park and a lot of people will be like, oh, he's a bit fat, isn't he? They don't hesitate in telling me how fat my dogs are. Or just the pug.
That's hilarious.
And I'm like, how dare you? He's my child.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have to make a bit of noise because I'm making pen 40. Dave needs some for tonight.
Right.
So I'm making a bunch
Far
of...
away.
Awesome.
So I've just got to blend some nuts
Blend it
up.
up.
Okay.
We'll just pause our conversation. Go, Milton, go.
It's not plugged in.
Just ring tech support. Is it plugged in, Milton?
I can't switch it on. I haven't done the course and I haven't got the certificate, you know? I'll give it another go. Sweet. Done.
Is that it?
Yep.
Nice.
It was quick.
I won't grind them down real fine. You just take them to a certain sort of chunky level so it makes the pen 14 nicer
Yeah.
rather than making it real fine.
I have to ask, Milton, how did you learn how to make pan forte?
Oh, just by practice. Yep,
right.
just by doing it and then just adjusting it, seeing if it tastes good and getting the texture right and doing research. Yeah.
It's very cool, and it would be very popular at this time of year, obviously.
Yeah. So
yeah, for sure. Yep.
yeah, is that Italian Christmas cake? Have you been to Italy?
I
Have you
have.
ever? Did you eat pan forte over there or not?
I did not eat
Probably
pan
not.
forte,
No.
no, over there, but
Yeah, it's a bit. I don't know. I've always liked the English Christmas food.
Yes.
You know, the little mince pies and fruit mince pies and things. And that's why I was drawn to the pan forte. I just loved it. It has that spicy, fruity, nutty kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just real dense. And it's kind of a little bit healthy, I guess. Or it feels kind of healthy.
so it's got like obviously heaps of fruit and
Yeah.
nuts and spices, but what else is it made up of? Do you?
Honey. Honey kind of binds it all together and
Yeah, a whole bunch
holds
of
it
honey.
together.
Yep.
Yep.
It's actually reasonably healthy. There's a bit of sugar in there, but it's bugger all.
Okay.
Next year, we're planning on some new flavours as well. Like, this is our first year sort of really pushing it. And it's gone really well, but we want to kind of open up the flavours to a whole different level.
So what the flavour that you guys do at the moment, is it just like
So
an
this
original
is kind
classic?
of, well, there's a Diana one, which is more kind of, ours is quite packed full of flavour. There's a lot out there which aren't as flavourful as ours.
Okay.
They kind of tend to pick off flavours and stick with them quite strictly. And I find it just sort of is a little bit boring and bland. This one's just got kind of, this is the ultimate pan forte. It's got everything kind of going on in it.
Okay.
The spice, the pepper, the fruit.
I was just a bit sidetracked by the word macadam.
Oh.
M-A-C-A-D-A-M, macadam. And I just looked it up, and it means broken stone of even size.
Oh.
And it's used for, in roading and making bitumen and tar seal.
Yeah.
But how I broke the nuts up, and that's also a word that you can use for that. It's the macadam. You're putting it into the
That's a new one.
Yeah,
I
but
don't-
we like words around here, and I thought I'd quickly look up the etymology of that and
That's awesome.
how the words kind of tie society together when you start looking into it.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Eh?
So do you guys just sell it through the cafe or other methods as well?
No, we did last year. When we first started it, just doing the small 250 gram ones. We were wholesaling it to another company, which I don't think we were actually supposed to be doing as far as our food license. Our food license just covers selling it direct to the customer.
Right.
We were wholesaling it to another company, but there wasn't enough margins in it. Yeah.
Okay.
Food's real tough. I mean, it boggles my mind when you go around the supermarket and you can pick up a jar of peanut butter for $3 or $3.50. It's kind of like, where are the margins in that?
Yeah.
But our Pam Forte is the 250 gram. We sell for $20 or $18 if you're buying more than one. Like at Ballantyne's, they're like $42.
Oh my god.
They're from Italy, obviously.
Yeah, right.
But and then the 1 kg. I don't think there's the only other place we've seen 1 kg ones are in Italy. So yeah.
Right. But I guess your stuff is fresh, right? Because you're making it regularly here, locally.
There's no preservatives or anything, which presumably the Italian ones would pack it full to.
And we grind up our own spices, which is pretty easy. Just get a spice grinder, but
it makes a massive difference.
It makes a massive difference as well.
See, these are all selling points, guys.
Yeah, I know.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is good, like made locally, made fresh, just grinding your own spice.
There's your marketing coming out.
Yeah.
But you're right. You do need to push those things to the front.
Yeah, and I don't know about you guys, but I personally like supporting local New Zealand artisans and craftspeople.
Totally.
I go to a lot of those little markets and things like that where people make stuff and from New Zealand. I love supporting them.
That's right.
But yeah,
that's you're always, because when we had the semi bags at the markets, you're always coming along to those markets.
I'm always there. Yeah, I love them. I love them.
That's cool. Would you ever consider making stuff? And
I don't think I'm talented enough,
path?
David, and I don't think I'm not talented enough in that area. But also, I probably don't have the patience. Oh, and ability. Maybe like I look at some of the stuff they make, and I'm like, man, that's cool. I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
Some of these ladies who make like earrings and stuff like that from scratch, or little pottery. Like there was a lady at. Are you familiar with? Oh yeah, of course you are. In Craftsman Market.
Yeah.
There was a lady there, and she had the coolest. Well, I thought they were cool anyway.
Yeah.
Mugs made out of pottery.
Yeah.
Pottery's not an easy,
No.
or clay's not an easy material to work with, right? She made these little mugs, and they had bacon and eggs.
Oh wow!
On the
I didn't
side.
see those.
Oh, they were so cool.
Yeah.
But man, she was doing a good trade that day. Let's put it that way.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's good. We figured with Sammy bags, we're kind of pulling away from the markets because we can, you can make $1,000 or maybe a bit more.
Yeah.
But it can be quite. There's a lot of work goes into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long day standing on your feet all day as well.
That's right. Yeah, no breaks. It's kind of like hospo, really.
Yeah.
It's random, eh? People coming in for lunch, and you're like thinking, I haven't had lunch myself.
Yeah, right. So you're to market Sammy bags. Geez, you guys have had some awesome exposure.
We did. Yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
And there was something else as well.
It was insane.
There was another.
We started off being in the Avenues magazine. Then we got on Stuff. Then we went on Seven Sharp, and then it was the Air New Zealand magazine, the Kiora magazine. Yep. And we're actually this December, like soon, could even be now, the Cuisine magazine.
Oh my gosh.
Remember Cuisine?
Yes.
I don't know if people still buy magazines or not, but we'll be in the Cuisine magazine, Sammy bags.
That is so cool.
So cool.
Is that just sort of word of mouth, people talking about, or do you write to them and say, hey guys, we've got this awesome product, you should promote it, sort of thing, So, do an article, write an article. Yeah,
Avenues, we know someone who works there.
Yep.
And then Stuff was a random. The reporter was looking for something, and she sort of discovered us.
Okay.
And did a whole story about us, and then that Seven Sharp followed straight on, like that same week. they saw it on stuff and they were like, we want to do a story.
That's so cool.
And then the Kia Ora magazine was, I contacted them and didn't hear anything for months, and then all of a sudden he just rang up and it was like, boom.
That is so cool.
Cuisine was random, don't know.
Right.
Yeah, but that's cool. It is. It's a mixture of kind of pushing yourself out there, but also just other people contacting and finding out. Word of mouth.
A lot of the reporters and journos would probably talk as well. Oh,
that's
this.
right.
You know, you should do a story on this. But I think, good on you. I think it's so cool.
It is. It's heaps of fun. We, our latest thing is we've applied to get into this little business startup kind of hub, if you call it that.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have applied for that, and I had to do like a little presentation, like Dragon's Den kind of thing, like a pitch. So I did my 5-minute pitch. I haven't found out whether we've been accepted yet, but I hope so.
That is so cool. So you have like a permanent base in an office space that you share with other startups? Is that
that's correct. Yeah. Although, with Sammy Bags, I'm kind of making the bags. I'm like sewing them, we're cutting them out in the garage, so we need to kind of be there. But we will go in and we'll meet with the different experts and stuff. Because there's people who are like CEOs and all sorts of people with different experiences, and you can ask them questions and meet with them, and they'll share their knowledge and information with you, and then they bill like Christchurch, New Zealand or something. So all of it gets paid for.
Wow.
Yeah, but you get access to this incredible wealth of knowledge.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and the idea is to be able to scale up and then possibly like reach new markets, maybe overseas, and employ more people, and for the business to kind of grow and thrive and stuff. So,
David, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
If things did grow to an extent where you were like, man, I don't have time, physically don't have time to make these myself.
Oh, yeah.
Would you consider sending that overseas, like the manufacturing overseas, so another country?
Yeah, we've thought about that quite a lot, and obviously China that's the destination for that type of thing, to get it done real cheap. Yeah. But I did have some people contact me who wanted them made in Tonga.
Okay.
And I thought that would be kind of nice because they're our neighbours. But in actual fact, we can automate a lot of it ourselves.
Yeah.
And then, so hopefully we can keep it in New Zealand.
Very cool.
And just employ a bunch of sewing machinists.
Yep.
But we can get a digital flatbed cutter to cut everything out. And we can get a machine to do the stamping, the printing of them. Okay. So that would reduce the labour quite a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. By 50% or more, and then it just needs to be sewn up.
So cool, I think.
Yeah.
Good on you. That's awesome. Yeah.
It does take a lot of time, though.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Have you had your business, Laura?
Hitch? I did. I had my business, David. Yeah. You're right. No, so actually, it was my mother and I started. Yeah. So after I came back from Japan, worked back at MediaWorks for a year, maternity contract, and then after that, my dad was like, "Hey, you should start a business, be your own boss," kind of thing. He sold it to me, sold the idea. I was like, "Yeah, okay, why not?" But I thought, what the hell could I do,
Yeah.
And so, long story short, because I'd sort of worked in media and events and stuff, I thought, well, some sort of events business. So, my mother and I, we started like an event hire business. So we would hire, tables and chairs and tablecloths and vases and lights and stuff for weddings and conferences, and mainly weddings, to be honest. And it grew, and it got to a point where we were working in very closely with different venues and other hire companies, and we'd often hire stuff off each other if we didn't have something. But I after 5 years decided to. This was a choice, but I decided to leave and go back to study, and I studied journalism at Canterbury University, and I've never worked as a journalist, but anyway, I studied journalism, but the main reason, people ask me why, there are a few reasons actually. Number one, working with family can be quite testing at times. Not my mum, but certain other family members can be a bit testing at times.
Oh, totally.
And number two, working in events, you do, like Hospo, you work some really crazy hours. and you do have the odd customer who, like we had customers who would return crisp white tablecloths with gigantic red wine stains on. Understandable, it's a wedding, but then they would refuse to foot the bill to cover that damage.
Oh, man.
So things like that, and it got to you after a while. I was like, oh God,
Yeah, no, it is. It's business is, it's a really interesting thing. I don't know. I feel like it sort of can, it can bring out the best or the worst of you, and also it just sort of reflects your strengths and weaknesses, and your insecurities can kind of come out and be like, oh, far out.
Yeah, well,
it can be quite a stressful experience, but also you can learn a lot and you can overcome a lot of obstacles. So
that's right. Because
it's not all bad.
It's funny because I'm like an out there kind of person, but I don't like confrontation.
No.
So if I had to say to someone, look, I'm really sorry, but we couldn't get the stains out of the tablecloths. We're going to have to take a portion of your bond, because they all paid a bond to cover potential damage. And and if they said, "Oh no, I didn't do that," it would just be like, "Oh God, I don't want to have to go back to them and say, well, actually, I'm sorry, but we have to take your bond because otherwise we're losing money. We're a company, we've got to keep going." But yeah, you're right. You do learn a number of different things as well, and how to troubleshoot. I remember one day we had some really cool stuff. I have to say, we had like big popcorn machines and soft serve ice cream machines and stuff like that. And we would hire them out for heaps of different events and some really large events. And on one occasion, our ice cream machine broke down.
Oh, crap! And
we had to get one of our technician guys from work to come out, take a look, and the belt. There's like I don't even know the technical term for it, but there's like a rubber belt thing to keep the motor going, and that had completely perished.
Oh,
and it had only been replaced a month earlier, so we were like, what?
Yeah. Our machinery does that as well. It seems like commercial stuff isn't built as well as domestic stuff. It sounds the opposite, but it's true. Yeah. Yeah,
and I think, and if it's been used regularly, then, it's understandable, I guess, wear and tear. But anyway, so,
Oh, yeah. Businesses, I don't know. We've had some really awesome times, and we're actually going to start another one. We're going to start a banana jam company, Laura.
What?
Yeah.
What is it? Okay, sorry.
Just making banana jam.
Banana jam?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be, I've worked out, even though I'm kind of like a little bit nervous, I'm kind of like, oh yeah, I think we can do it.
So this is for putting on toast and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, now, what's to stop someone from getting a banana and just using a fork, mashing it and putting it on the toast? Or does it have special herbs and spices and yummy stuff in it? There's
lime and cinnamon.
Ooh.
Which isn't much, and rum. We can make a rum one as well.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, you are such an I can't even say this word.
Entrepreneur.
Probably. Entrepreneur.
Well, I think, what I've realised is, I think, people, if they have lots of ideas, it is best to do them. And sometimes, even if it's not a good idea, at least you get it out of the way.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of move on to the next one. And the chances are your first idea is never going to be good. And you're kind of going to learn stuff from it.
But you don't know until you try, do you?
No, exactly. Yeah.
And the success that you've had with Savvy Bags so far is, I think, just awesome.
Well, that's super exciting. Yeah. So, what do you got planned for Christmas?
Just at the Olds place.
Yeah.
Old Lynn's and Bry, Mum and Dad. They're going to be hosting this year, and actually one of my brothers, because two of my brothers, I've got three, but two of them live in Australia. Yeah. So one of them is coming home with his family and wife and kids and stuff. Yeah. So that'll be good.
Yep.
But actually, David, one thing I was going to talk... Sorry, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, but one thing I was going to talk to you about on the podcast, and this may be very boring for some people out there listening or watching this, but is the topic of being single at this age.
Oh, totally.
And childless.
Yeah. Well, you've got to do Christmas with, presumably,
yep,
lots of other kids. And
Yeah.
And families.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. And I love it
Yeah.
because I love being surrounded by, lots of people and family and friends and stuff. But you do feel like you're the odd one out.
Oh, wow.
The black sheep of the family. Because all of my brothers are married.
Yeah.
2 of them have kids.
Yeah.
And all of my friends... Well, no, I should... Hang on, to be honest, probably about 95% of my friends have kids and are married or partnered up.
Yeah.
So, and I always thought at this age, I'm just about to turn 42 in a couple of months, a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I always thought that I would be married with children by now. And you can live a perfectly fine life without that.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to I don't want to get to 50 and regret not doing the kid thing, especially.
Yeah.
And I have thought, it has crossed my mind, about
having a donor.
Getting a donor sperm or something, but then doing it by yourself, like raising a child alone. A lot of people have said to me, do you really want to do it without a dad in the picture? And I'm like, well, preferably not.
No.
But then I don't want to miss the opportunity to, because the old biological clock is ticking, David. So I'm not sure what to do.
Oh, well, Milton, any advice there?
I'm baking. I'm concentrating on this.
Oh, hang on. Do you guys have kids, and are you glad you had them? Does it enrich your life?
Milton?
No, I don't have kids, but I've got a partner.
Okay.
Yep. No, I'm happy enough. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. See, so you can still have a very happy life with
100%.
That companionship of a partner. I think for sure. But I feel like kids enrich your life or something. I don't know. They
do. Well, yep, I've got 2 kids, so I'm coming at it from that angle. What do I think? I think in any area of life, comparison is, what do they say, the thief of joy?
Yes.
So, but we are all human, and we all, we're always comparing ourselves as well, so we can't avoid it 100%.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably a good thing to practice. And then there's also the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. You think that things are better.
Yeah.
When I look at people and families or whatever's, I don't know. It's the strengths and weaknesses thing. Some people that have a lot in one area might not have much in another area. So maybe they've got an amazing career and they've gone to the top of their game.
Yeah.
But they don't have a family or children. And it's not always those 2 things.
Yeah.
But it could be any things. There's often massive strengths and success in certain areas of life, and then other areas. But it's just what we perceive to be happiness or success, and no one really who comes up with the rules, who says what success is.
That's right. I think there's definitely,
but it's you have to go back to yourself and you go, well, what are my values and what are they? Do I and I think everyone obviously craves love, right?
Yeah.
And things like that. It's real deep. And then you're like, what's the meaning of life, basically?
Shit, we're getting deep now.
No,
but
it is.
You're right.
It is. Because, look, some people, there are people out there who think it's selfish having children because the world's going to burn up and you're just, humans are the worst thing on the planet. We're like bacteria. I would never procreate and all of that type of thing. Yeah. So it really depends on where you're coming from and what lens you're seeing the world through. Yeah.
I think you're right, and I think I put pressure probably personally on myself to, I should be married with kids by now.
Yep.
But then I also feel definitely like there are societal pressures as a woman to do this.
Yes.
To do that as well. But
yeah.
When I look at the reasons for wanting to have kids, I think there are 3. There's number 1, I feel like they enrich your life.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, I'd love to have a mini me, a mini version of Laura.
Yeah.
That'd be extremely good looking. And number 2, I'm just kidding. And number 3, this is selfish, but this is not my main reason for wanting to have kids. But I feel like if I get to grandma sort of age, I don't think I'll reach that far, but anyway, if I get to grandma age, I'd love to have someone that actually would potentially look after me a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or come and visit me in the retirement village, you know.
That's right. Did you ever watch that TV show 6 Feet Under? It went on for like seasons and stuff.
Shivers. I do remember it.
That kind of looked at death and things like that.
Yeah.
And I do remember the final episode, like all of the main characters were dying off and stuff, and it sort of showed them. And like some of them were dying and they were surrounded by family and stuff. So you're like, shit, who's going to be there?
I know. Who's going to be there? Bloody everyone's character.
We could do a podcast. We could do a podcast for it. We'll just...
From our retirement village beds.
What, from the deathbed sort of
Yeah.
We can call it the Deathbed Podcast. It's got a ring to it, doesn't it? It's a great idea.
I don't know. I think it's good to talk about those things anyway, and to kind of chuck them out there, and because it's not, I don't know, like those societal pressures that you talked about, or the cultural kind of things. I think we can't escape some of them. Like some of them aren't made up. We're human. We're kind of like animals. Animals procreate and stuff, and they have babies and stuff, and there is this thing built into us.
It's a natural thing, I think.
So we don't want to make out that it's all just cultural. You don't want to be so hard and tough that you're just like, no way. I'm like, So I think you've just got to be honest with yourself, I suppose.
Oh, I know. It'd be bloody like
be honest with yourself, and I don't know. I'm not too sure.
I've got a couple of mates, David, who have had the other conversation that does come up is, I'm not getting any younger, right? As I said, I'm about to turn 42 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And that's quite old to become a mum, right? Well, a lot of people are leaving it later nowadays. I've got two good mates who, one of them had their first child at 43, just au naturel, no donors or anything like that, just with their partner, and it's all good. And she's just going to have the one child. And then I've got another friend who used an egg donor because she was unable to. She was a bit older. She was 45. And she used her partner's sperm, and they've got this beautiful wee child. So people, even though they're a bit older, they've found a way to do it.
Yeah.
But I think just the question is, doing it alone, is that a good idea? I just don't know. I'm trying to. But I don't want to stuff around too long because,
I don't know.
It just comes down to the individual.
Yeah.
Some people do it alone and they're fine.
Yeah, because someone said
it's going to be hard regardless.
That's it.
True.
And someone said if you don't know any different, like if you've not had a partner on the scene anyway, you're used to doing everything yourself anyway, then you're not going to know any different, if that makes sense.
I knew a friend and she... she slept with a number of guys, and she didn't want to know who the dad was, and then she just went off and had the baby by herself and brought it up by herself.
Right.
So there's another angle.
Okay, yeah, cool. Okay.
I know there's just as many possibilities as there are people, I suppose. But you have to search your heart and find out what you want.
Yeah, I do. It's a tough call. But actually, that was the other thing I was going to raise, is that it's not cheap if you do decide to go down a sperm donor. So you can either have a one-nighter, or you could do it officially and go through the Fertility Associates clinic and freeze my eggs so they don't get any older, and then use a sperm donor. But it costs thousands. I'm talking 20, 30K. So I don't know if you've got a spare 20, 30K lying around, folks, but I sure as hell don't.
No. So there's the practical side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the emotional kind of side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how you feel, and and your relationship with yourself, kind of like the relationship inside your head with your voice and stuff.
Yeah.
And trying to work out what the deal is. It is hard. I do think it's hard for single people, because I know that Peter, my wife. It's all, you've got a mate, and they're there. They're your kind of your backstop, and you can sound things off them, and they can say you're being a dick, or
I'm sure she doesn't say that to you, though, David. Peter's a lovely lady.
Yeah,
and she would never think you're a dick.
No, but you know.
I know what you're saying.
I can definitely be a dick at times,
Not
right?
at all.
So, or just general ideas, like, and just having confidence and going out there and doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just trying to, like, make your way through this world and this life, like, and it's so helpful having someone in your court that's kind of got your back and things. So it must be. Do you find that's difficult, not having someone? Or do you kind of spread it out over all of your friends and gather that kind of feedback?
Well, actually, you're talking like not having a partner, you mean?
Yeah, and just kind of getting feedback.
Do you know what? It's horrible, but I'm kind of used to not having a partner now. That part doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect me as much. I mean, I'd like a partner, for sure. And, you know, But yeah, you just kind of adjust to not having one,
That's
and it's the norm.
Yeah.
But the one thing I will say, because I remember when my friends started popping out the puppies, you know, the babies, they, in their first 6 months to a year, it's really hard times. You're heavily sleep deprived, and a lot of them said, oh, you know, I don't get out and about. I feel like I've lost myself. You know, I don't have that adult contact, and so they kind of felt, you know, I can't think of the word I'm trying to look for, but you know, just they didn't have that social contact anymore.
Kind of amputated. It feels like a part of your life, or
they've
something.
lost themselves. Yeah, exactly, right. And then as a single person without children, I then later on felt a little bit like that myself, because I was like, all of my friends with kids and husband, they would socialise with other couples. They would never invite the single person anymore.
Yeah.
So I found myself like, shit, I've lost all my mates. Or, you know, like I'd still see them, but it just wasn't the same. Like it was
No.
And I do have single friends, but probably only about 5.
Yeah.
5 of us left.
So how do you meet people and stuff?
So this sounds so nerdy, but I think the absolute key, as I'm getting older, to meet people is to... I mean, I still, as I said, I make that sound like I never see my friends anymore, but I do. I see friends regularly, but I just... It's in a different sort of environment.
Yeah. The dynamic has changed.
The dynamic's changed,
Yep.
and I think the absolute key, just in general anyway, because I've got, I guess, a bit more time on my hands, I don't have the partner, I don't have the kids, is to get out and start a new hobby or join a group. So I'm a member of, like, Riccarton Players Community Theatre Group.
Oh, yeah.
And through them, I've met a lot of people. I'm a member of the Mini Car Club, because I drive a Mini.
Oh, yeah.
A few oldies.
And what do you do? Do you hoon around in the Mini sometimes?
You hoon around.
Do a convoy, kind of.
You do a wee convoy, and they don't tell you where you're going until you sort of, it's like follow the leader kind of thing, and then you have a barbecue when you get there,
sweet.
and it's a social thing again.
I saw there's an electric Mini coming out.
Oh, I've heard
Is there
about
waves
this.
in the Mini community?
I'm not going to lie, I haven't heard many people talk about it, but admittedly, most of the people in that club own the more classic, original, cute little old style Mini.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some newbie ones like me.
Yeah.
But you know, but I'm sure that it's caused a bit of a stir, David.
Yeah. Cool.
But anyway, I just wanted to cover that topic because it's.
Oh no!
Some people may be able to relate,
and a lot of
much.
People perhaps wouldn't feel comfortable about bringing it up, or if they did feel comfortable, they might overstep the mark and they might say hurtful things or all sorts. Yeah,
that's right.
So you've probably got some people staying quiet because they're like freaking out. Don't know what to say or whatever, and then there's others who are just like, what the hell's... I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
You're just like some people are sitting there like me, going, "Oh, I don't know whether I should do it or not." This is like a turning point in my life. This could really. I was at Wine and Food Festival the other day in Hagley Park.
Yeah.
That's a good day out. And I was talking to I bumped into a whole bunch of random people that I knew, and we just got talking about family and stuff, and some of them, without even bringing this up, some of them were like, Laura, do not have kids, whatever, just don't have kids, you've got to get up early, you can't do your own thing. I was like, oh, really?
And maybe they're trying to make you feel good. Or
but they
who knows?
might be.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
because they chose to have kids.
They chose to have kids, and they've had more.
Yeah.
So not just the one. So if it was that bad, they would have stopped after number one. So I think you're spot on when you say they're just trying to make me feel better.
Yeah.
Or they're just sort of bringing up this part of it's awful
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But overall, they wanted to have
And there's a
kids.
truth in
I
that,
think so.
but, you know, that's right. Yeah, you choose to have them, right?
Yeah.
Kind of, so.
But I think as long as, well, you can't put them back in, can you? That's the problem.
No.
But as long as the pros outweigh the cons,
Yeah,
well, I guess you can
totally.
always adopt them out.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of that, David, my mum was adopted,
Oh, yeah.
and for years I tried to because it's a very personal thing. You either want to do it or you don't. But as her daughter, I said to Mum, aren't you curious about finding your biological family? And for years she was like, no, not interested. You know, I've been raised by a wonderful family, and it would be hurtful to my adoptive parents if I tried to track down my biological.
Yeah.
And long story short, once my grandparents passed away,
Yeah. She felt that she could.
my mum changed.
Yeah.
Was like, all right. Oh God, she didn't
Yeah.
really want to, but I kind of pushed it. Anyway, long story short, really cool story because Mum was raised as an only child, and she applied for a birth certificate. We found out her mum's name, and through that we were able to track down the mum who unfortunately had passed away, but she had two other kids.
Wow.
So my mum then all of
Yeah.
a sudden had two brothers, two half-brothers.
Half-brothers.
Half-brothers. So they had a different father but same mother.
Yep.
But it was just so cool for my mum.
That's so cool.
And she's maintained a friendship with the brothers.
Yeah.
So she's on the phone to them all the time.
And
It's great.
Yeah. We've got a bit of adoption stuff in our family as well.
Right.
And it's amazing. That type of thing is really intense. And, yeah, when a child is separated at such a young age from the mother, it does cause, that there's a break
Yeah.
that naturally should be together. And, yeah, it's fascinating hearing those stories of people finding their birth parents again.
Well, look, because it could go, could go wrong. Could go.
It totally could. And I think that's one of those situations where you've really got to put aside any of your kind of baggage or thoughts or whatever they might be, and then just approach the situation real openly.
Yes.
But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, there's the real possibility that you could get real hurt. And I don't know, might cause more trauma.
That's it. Because we worried about destroying the lives, or not destroying the lives, but really having an impact on the lives of the people that we were trying to track down.
Yeah,
like they might not want us. They might not want to be found.
I think once you get there, that's when you can make that decision. But until you don't know, and there's so much in life that we don't know. Sometimes we're operating on what we think is going to happen all the time. Like we're making these assumptions about the future and how people are going to feel and things like that, but we really don't know.
No.
Yeah.
Who in your family, may I ask?
Yeah, so my father was adopted, and in his situation, his adoptive parents didn't even tell him he was adopted, so he was 21 before he even found out, and that just came as obviously a massive shock.
Oh my gosh.
And then... And even, once he found out, his adopted mother didn't want to talk to him about it at all. And that was, just real deep-rooted pain and, I don't know, fear of rejection, all sorts of kind of things in there. And I don't know.
Did he track down his biological family? Or?
Yeah, he did. So once he was 50, he found his mum and stuff.
And was it okay? Did they?
It was good, yeah. So he got to meet his father. He got to meet his mother.
Wow.
And in actual fact, he had a full biological sister and brother.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So they stayed together. But back in the day, it was
so cool.
Yeah, there was a lot going on back in the day. There was obviously, I don't know. I mean, not always, but sometimes if someone got pregnant. A young woman got pregnant or whatever, they would just be
adopted straight out.
And it was a sense of shame for the family, and they would be sort of go on holiday for however many months, and then they would return, and it would seem as if nothing had happened, but they had had the baby, they'd adopted it, and then they come back.
That's right.
And these kind of secrets and stuff, and it's just all through society. I don't know. Maybe some cultures are better at handling it than others, but some of the West, I don't know. See, my parents are English, so yeah.
Well, I think it's awesome that your dad's story ended well.
Yeah,
I
think it has even though that has happened, there's still a lifetime of ramifications and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, it shapes who you are as people, and then it can shape other relationships and things like that.
Yes.
The ripple effect of adoption is pretty big. I see it as sort of generally a negative thing, but I suppose I have like a higher sort of ideal of what is meant to be. I think in some cases, perhaps it can be a positive thing, but yeah. On the whole, like, life's not perfect, right?
Yeah.
We can't, so, yeah.
I think you're right. I think if the mother is unable financially to support the child, then it makes sense to adopt it out. But then, there's all that, like, for example, in your dad's case, not finding out that he was adopted until much later in life, that would have been, as you said, a major shock, and then potentially have a huge impact on his relationship with his adoptive parents, because he would have been like, why didn't you tell me? What sort of thing.
Yeah, all of the relationships. Yeah, but I don't know. It's just how you get through life.
It is, and I just reckon, like you were spot on when you say things have changed since the good old days as well. Like, it's so different now.
I like to think they have, but sometimes there are other things. Other things replace the things that have perhaps changed.
Yep.
And we sometimes think that we're constantly getting better, but I don't know. Sometimes I think we're sometimes getting worse.
Taking a backward step. Definitely.
In some ways, there's always some kind of weird stuff going on.
Yeah.
But humans are kind of complex. Yeah, I don't know. Do you believe in God?
Oh, this is a good topic, David. I wondered if you'd bring this up.
Throw that out there.
Okay. So, how long are we? Have we got another hour, David? No, I'm going
look.
No, do you know what?
Let's just squeeze this one in at the end.
Okay, so don't judge me, okay, people watching.
Everyone's going to judge you.
Okay,
What are you talking about?
It's too late. But I guess just the way I've been raised was by parents who didn't necessarily believe in God. So in a non-religious household. So I suppose I just grew up in that manner. But then I went to a religious school, right? And we had to attend chapel and church service, throughout the week. And every Sunday we'd go to chapel service and just, so... but I guess, no, it doesn't really play a part in my life.
No.
If I'm being honest. And I know some people are like, okay, I don't believe in God, but I believe in something out there. I'm not even one of those people.
No.
I just think there's a whole bunch of...
Don't knows.
And,
May not even knows.
May not even knows.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's cool. No, I just wondered, because I think at the seat of most people, at the kind of deep down, there is some kind of understanding and awareness, and that does sort of, I don't know if it dictates, but it does sort of...
guide.
It kind of talks about how someone lives their life to a certain degree. And I'm not saying that it's... Look, plenty of Christians have done evil things over the centuries and stuff, so I'm not saying it totally makes someone good or bad, but it does affect them and stuff, and it's, I don't know, interesting.
Are you offering for me to join up to the church, David? Is that what you're saying?
No, because, well, look, I see all of that religious thing around church as not, as not a helpful thing sometimes. I think it's a relationship between yourself and God.
Yeah.
I'm a born-again Christian and stuff, and I think it really matters, that relationship between yourself and with a higher power, with God. And for me, it is Jesus being the Son of God and stuff. However, there's a lot that plays into it, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think like you say, like, were you raised in a Christian sort of household?
Yeah, I was. Yep.
Yeah, you were.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I I don't have anything against religion. I think as long as it's peaceful and you know what I mean, then I don't have a problem with it myself.
See, I'm not a fan of religion.
Yep.
I'm a fan of having a relationship with God. Yeah,
right.
That's my kind of thing, take on it, I suppose. And I think that helps me in life to guide my decisions and things, and how I should feel about certain things. Because otherwise I'd feel like I was floating around.
Right.
Like it sort of ties me down to an objective morality, if you kind of get that. Like an objective thing, which it's not sort of so subjective. Yeah.
What about old Milton over there? Is he...
I don't know, he seems to be very busy making those panforte.
You're awfully quiet there, Milton.
Oh, well, I'm concentrating. I think I messed up the recipe a wee bit, so I was just trying to work it out. Yep.
So do you have any belief in a particular...
No, I just don't know it, but, just whatever other people believe in, I'm happy with that.
That's
I
cool.
don't know.
That's cool.
One of my things, if I was to share, not perhaps the gospel with you, but an approach that I take, which I find a lot of people don't think about, is that in the same way, because I believe we're made up of 3 parts, right? So sort of the mind, the emotional part, the physical part, our bodies and things, and then the spiritual. And I think there are truths, there's laws in each kind of area. In the same way there's laws in the physical world, like the law of gravity and stuff like that, I think there are laws in the emotional and mental, and that's when you see the area of psychology come into play, and, things like love and stuff like that. And I think those things are very true, as true as a physical law, like gravity, people need love to perhaps experience life. And I think in the spiritual world there's also real, concrete kind of laws that exist. I think when people start thinking about the spiritual, they sort of think anything can happen. It's just this big whatevers. Yep. But I feel like it's more structured. Like there's a structure, the same way that there's a structure in the physical world and in the mental world, there's also one in the spiritual. So I usually encourage people to seek out what those truths are. Like, what are those laws? If there are laws in the physical world that we live our life by, what are the ones in the spiritual? Yeah, that's it.
David,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
makes total sense.
Yeah. And David, can you explain to me, as someone who doesn't know a lot about it, what is the difference between a Christian and a born again Christian?
Oh, okay. Well, it just, once again, it depends. There is many different people as there are ideas. But to me, a born-again Christian is one that accepts sort of Jesus Christ as the Son of God, or as God himself. So the 3 parts, the Trinity, there's a whole bunch of sort of doctrine around that, but they certainly think the Bible is the Word of God, and they think that Jesus is sort of the living manifestation of the Word. He was the Word made flesh. And then I think... Look, there's a lot of people who, might like the idea of Christianity, and they like all of the rules, and they like all of the regulation and stuff.
Yeah.
And they do it for that reason, and perhaps they miss out on the relationship that, how can I put it? It's like having a relationship with someone. Like when you actually have a relationship with someone, it's dynamic and it goes both ways. But if you're having a relationship with just an idea, like an ideology, it's just a one-way kind of thing, and the ideology can change. I don't know if you kind of understand that?
Yep.
It makes sense that...
So there's a living element to it.
Yeah.
That, to me, is a born-again Christian. There's a living element to it, and you have actually been reborn in the Spirit. Whereas just a nominal Christian, like, I'm a Catholic, I went to this school, blah, 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 I kind of believe in these things. They sound good to me.
Well,
that's a good thing to
see
follow.
those people, they're wearing the overcoat of their ideology, and there's a disconnect. But it makes sense that things that are true in the secular will probably be true in the spiritual, and they're true in the physical. It makes sense how those laws would cross over. Yeah. And that could perhaps be a good guiding light. Yeah. Well, I think Christianity in its ideological form is dangerous as any other religion or idea, because what can happen is, and has happened in history, they'll use that religion as
a means to control other people and slaughter.
I don't like that.
Slaughter people. And you can have the nicest, sweetest ideas about that.
Yeah.
We're killing you because we love you. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it can just be like, get rid of the evil people. We're just going to keep the good people or something. Really lame. I think there has to be a living relationship with a real God. Like, it can't just be an idea of who God is. There has to be a living God.
I was reading some...
And not only does there has to be, but it has to exist. Like, it's not... The relationship... God doesn't exist because you believe in God. You exist because God exists, like, type of thing. Yeah, I don't know. Continue, Milton.
Yep.
Forgotten what I was going to say.
Oh,
I haven't. I'm just joking. No, and that gives you the passion that you're speaking from, because it's a real living relationship.
Yeah,
I would guess.
Yeah.
I was just reading exactly what you're saying the other day in some poetry sort of style works, and they were saying exactly the same thing.
Yeah. I see other people, like, certain people get, like, really passionate with business, and they kind of become true believers that, and it can seem quite cult-like, kind of. In that sense, they might, like, love capitalism, and they're kind of like, this is going to bring people out of poverty and stuff like that. And there's a lot of truth in it. But ultimately, for me, I'm looking for something more than an ideology. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And we've had some, like, I've had many experiences, like, all the time. Like, that relationship with God is as real as my relationship with you guys or anyone. So, but
so an ideology is just going to end up being empty.
I think it ends up pretty dangerous, and
the way you're talking about your cup's going to get filled.
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas we're trying to make up like, we're choosing what to fill up.
Because one's coming from your head and the other's coming from your heart, right?
Yeah, to a certain degree.
Simplistic.
Well, it's a combination. Yeah, that spiritual, that three dimensions. I think if we treat ourselves as not spiritual beings, as just emotional and physical, I think we're almost kind of verging on veterinary science. We may as well just sort of treat ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I know exactly what you mean.
I think there is a spiritual element to life. Yeah. Sorry, Laura.
Not at all. I'm more than open to listening to other people's opinions. You got to be open nowadays.
Yeah.
You don't have to be, but I mean, it's a good way to be.
Well,
I mean,
you can.
An ideologue's not going to be open.
No, and the thing is, it's you can still question stuff. You can ask people questions. Like David, before we came on the podcast, he was like, "Is there anything we can't talk about? Like anything you don't want to talk about?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm an open book, mate.
Yeah.
You talk about whatever you like. Like."
I think that's how you have real relationships with people.
It is.
Like, that's how we can have a real meaningful relationship. Yeah. Because there's no, like, I was able to share that with you without worrying about you guys judging me or something.
Absolutely.
And you're able to share with us that, your fears or hopes about having children and stuff. Yeah. And it's kind of, I think,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
So, going back to the start, you should have a podcast, Laura.
Thanks, David. Thanks. Yeah, well, maybe. Who knows? I just need to, get the gear. But actually, I do have a professional mic at home, and I joined up with a voice because I haven't really done a lot of voice over work since radio days, and I used to do a heap.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
I used to voice the Calendar Girls ads.
Did you? Oh, right.
With this husky voice,
Yeah.
Nice.
But I used to voice a heap of stuff. But anyway, I joined up with this voice agency in Auckland and got my first gig. It's been a long time.
So do you have to record it at home and then
I record it on my home studio, and then I send the raw data to them, and they'll edit it further if they need to, like make it less bassy or more bassy, or take out breaths in between, like. Because sometimes it's quite funny if you listen back to yourself. Well, I'm sure you can because you record podcasts. But if you listen back to yourself, sometimes you take in quite a deep breath between sentences and paragraphs, and you need to edit that out sometimes when it comes to audio for radio.
Yeah,
and
you're
stuff.
right. And if I do watch the podcast, I hate listening to myself and stuff.
Nah.
But, you know.
But podcasts,
I just don't care. Yeah. I'm just kind of like, oh, well.
It's not a professional format, of course.
No.
Yeah, and I think only if it's going to be used for like a TV ad or a radio ad or something do you need to take out
the industry knows all the subtleties of the nuances and exactly what's important, and it has to be highly curated.
Yeah, well, one thing I used to be guilty of was because sometimes you get too close to the mic or and you'd pop on certain words.
Yeah.
Like,
that's right.
And it was like, oh, this is too much, so they'd make you voice it again.
Yeah. These mics have an inbuilt something or other.
Right.
I can't remember what, but it is to do with the S's and the P's. Yes. And then there's other things. I don't really know. Before, my earphones weren't working very well. Okay. And I was like, what the hell's going on? I was like pushing in the things. So hopefully the audio for me has remained.
I'm sure.
It could have just been the speaker, the earphones.
We can always record it again, David. Don't worry.
Totally. Do it next week.
Do you reckon we can remember what we said? But
no.
But no, you've got a very fancy setup. I'm impressed, I have to say.
But you can just do them on your phone. I was listening to one the other day with some high school kids just mucking around. Yeah. They must have been doing it on their lunch break. But I loved it, just having access to their world all of a sudden.
Where do they broadcast it? Like, is it on YouTube?
So they upload it. No, they're like Spotify, the other platforms. So you get a service which distributes it throughout the podcast kind of platforms, Apple and Spotify and things.
That would cost a bit of money though, wouldn't it?
I don't think so. I should have really done it. But I've got so many other things going on. It's just one step too far.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Laura, we would like to make you breakfast.
What?
Yeah, since you've come in here, so...
You don't have to do that. No, guys, honestly, you totally don't have to do that.
Sweet, okay, let's go.
That is so kind of you.
We do it for everybody else, so you're most welcome.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, Thanks for coming in. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, David.
With your future.
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks, Milton. It was a pleasure talking to you guys as well. We covered some very interesting topics, I thought.
Yeah, we did. Awesome. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.